So things that I learned since the preliminary task, I think that we were a bit more adventurous this time, especially with our camera angles. There were pretty simple camera angles being used in our first task, and everything was pretty simple. And yeah, we used mid shot and shot reverse shot and match and action, which are really good editing techniques, but I think we kind of used them in a bit more of a mature way this time, a bit more sophisticated maybe. I also think that we became more familiar with the camera. Our zooming was a lot better. I know in the preliminary task there's a bit where we zoom in on the cigarette, and there's a bit in it that's a bit jogging, but in this one our zooming is a lot better, a lot smoother, which I thought was good, and that's definitely a technique that I learnt to use better. Yeah, in our preliminary task I didn't really do much editing. I mean, I did like basic cutting and shortening, but for this task I learnt more how to kind of add in music. Although Ishmael did most of that, like, he needs to be given credit, I was always there kind of looking over what he was doing, and the same for the colour correction. Kind of learnt how to do that and how hard it is to kind of make sure that the colour doesn't merge into the black and white, and so that was definitely more difficult than anything we did on the preliminary task. Another thing that I thought that we did a lot better was creating a better atmosphere, because even though in both of the tasks there's kind of a similar genre with the whole crime and mafia and gangsters, I think that the task that we've just done with the titles seem a lot more slick and seem to fit in more with the whole like suited gangster men, and rather than the other one which kind of lacked that kind of ambience. And I think we were a lot better at reaching that atmosphere through the cinematography and the composition of the camera. So that was something that we got a lot better at, and I think that was a lot more mature than what we did before. Something else is that in our preliminary task we didn't actually use music either. And I didn't even realise how much adding music would change the whole flow of this title sequence. So I think the fact that we didn't use that in the preliminary task really kind of probably didn't do it justice. So I think that adding in the music and even learning how to put music in time with a piece of film, I think that kind of pushed us further than before. I think we worked a lot better on this task than the preliminary task. I think the preliminary task seemed a lot more like we were being guided through it. Like, we had to include the standard editing. There wasn't as much free range, and I think because we had more free range we had to work better together.